Hi guys, Trinity here. Thank you so much for watching. So tonight's video, I decided that I wanted to do a video on a topic that I don't hear a lot about. And that is when you have tarot decks and you purchase tarot decks, sometimes feeling comfortable with a tarot deck can be a little bit challenging for some people who are used to Rider-Waite type imagery, in the sense that when you get a tarot deck and you're kind of like favoring very closely the imagery and the Rider-Waite, and you're looking for something in that deck that's beautiful yet still speaks to you in that Rider-Waite language. So the imagery stays very true to Rider-Waite's symbolism and pictorial stuff. But what we find is with a lot of decks, and especially newer ones, there's a lot of up-close imagery. So there's not a lot of movement going on in these cards. And if you're very intuitive when it comes to tarot reading, or you are a very seasoned reader and you've been doing this for many, many years, you may not have a problem whatsoever. But there are those of us out there that find it a little bit of a challenge when we get some kind of different deck, and it has some cards that don't show a lot of background imagery, or they're a little too up close on the faces, and your intuition has trouble like kicking off with that. And it sometimes can even freeze your memory of the card because you're used to a little bit different of an image. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Today I have with me, 4 decks. I have the Radiant Rider-Waite, the Celtic Tarot, the Cosmic Tarot, and Tarot of the Hidden Realms. I find it funny because a lot of people that I'll see, and I'm not making fun of anybody, so please don't take this the wrong way. A lot of people will do a video, and I can see how they would get confused. The name of this deck is the Hidden Realms, or Tarot of the Hidden Realms. But the guidebook that came with this beautiful deck is called Journey to the Hidden Realms. So some people, I will hear them mistakenly in a video call this Journey to the Hidden Realms, or they'll call it the Shadowscapes Tarot, because this purple back can be very confusing with the Shadowscapes Tarot. I did have that tarot deck when I first started reading. It was one of 4 that I owned, and I actually gifted it to a friend of mine because I just didn't feel the symbolism was good enough for me at that time. But okay, so what I have done here, let me tell you what I did. I grabbed 2 tarot decks that would be more traditional as far as Rider-Waite imagery. Okay, so if you were to look at, well, one is a Rider-Waite, and the other one is close to it, okay? The author of this tarot deck decided to keep a lot of the imagery very true to Rider-Waite symbolism and imagery. Where these guys with the Cosmic Tarot and Tarot of the Hidden Realms, they kind of went off a little bit. They stayed with the system, but they kind of changed it up a little bit in the imagery. So what we're going to do is try to figure out, how would you read with a deck like these that may be a little different for some of you, where the imagery is a little farther away, or a little closer to your face, to where you're getting a facial view of, say, your court cards. And okay, so here we go. I'm going to give you a prime example. So this is the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. This is the King of Cups. He's sitting on a throne. We see water in the background. We see his clothes. We see his chalice that he's holding, or cup. We see his shoes. We see his crown. We see the sky. And if you look at the card, you'll see things in the background. Okay? So, what I'm getting at is that this card was meant to have background. So that's the King of Cups. Now, here, because we don't need another king or whatever. This is the Page of Swords in the Celtic Tarot. Once again, it's a court card. We see what we need to see. We see the page here holding the sword. But now we have all kinds of background. We have sky. We have like a castle top she's standing on here. We have our water. There's plenty of things for your eyes to feed on and for your intuition to go off of, and your intuition to catch more in the picture, okay? Now, when we pull these two decks over here, hang on just 1 second, guys, I'm sorry. Ooh, okay, here I am, I'm back. Okay, real quick. Now, these two decks, the Cosmic Tarot and Tarot of the Hidden Realms. If I were to go through these, now I love all four of these decks, by the way. I'm not knocking any deck. I love every single one of these. Fell in love with these. I thought about doing a video of decks I'm working with. Okay, because some of these decks are just, my intuition is on fire when I use them. It's great. Here we go. Here's the Page of Cups from the Cosmic Tarot, okay? Now, as you can see, if you look at the differences, here is our King of Cups, right? Rider-Waite-Smith. We got all of our background imagery, so we're not just getting a picture of the individual in the card. We are getting background imagery. So we have more to the imagination. Now you're going to look at the Page of Cups from the Cosmic Tarot and you're going to go, I'm getting an up-close and personal look. Which would be better for your intuition? Now, every single person is different. Some people would reach for this and they would find this one easier to get the information that they need to get out of it with their intuition or otherwise. And most people would lean more towards the background imagery. The reason I think that they do the cards like this with the up-close and personal look, the author of these types of decks, in most cases, I believe, in my opinion, are trying to get the point across of the meaning of the card by expression. So it's more so about the expression on this individual's face. So I really believe that when it comes to receiving decks, it's good to jump outside of our comfort zone and see if we can read this and see if it's easier for our intuition to pick up on, or if something like this would be easier and a little more readable for us. If you're used to reading, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to be okay with it. That you're not going to have any issues with reading with a deck that has up-close pictures. Now, this deck is very elven-like. Okay. It's got fairies and elves and different things of that nature. This deck is very expressive. Okay. But here we go. Here's the Queen of Cups in the Tarot of the Hidden Realms. Now, I just showed you the King of Cups, which I'm going to show you again in the Rider-Waite-Smith edition. Now, this is a very different picture than this. But what do you notice? In this picture, he's seated on a throne. Okay? You're not seeing an up-close picture of his face. You're seeing the background. But he does carry expression on his face. Okay? However, it's not very prominent because you're dealing with all this background. Creator of a deck like this wants you to see the expression in this Queen of Cups. It's how she carries herself. It's what she's wearing. It's how comfortable she looks. It's how confident she looks like she feels. It's about her beauty. It's about her style. It's not about the background. It's more about expression. So some tarot creators will feel more inclined to create a deck to where they want the deck and the cards individually to be more about expression. And they want that to be the most prominent thing when you look at the tarot card. So, like this one, the Eight of Swords, Tarot of the Hidden Realms. Now, the Eight of Swords in the Rider-Waite-Smith and decks that are like it is that of a woman standing in the center of a circle of swords. And she's blindfolded and her hands are tied behind her back. And basically it's about feeling trapped and feeling tied down to something, which is most likely an idea that you're helpless and you can't get out of this situation or get out of this contract or whatever. However, in this picture, they're not showing that. They're showing a raven and they're showing what looks like a woman. And I believe this is a wing. So you kind of have to get as much as you can from looking at her face because everything in the background is dark. So for somebody who's new, say to tarot, or somebody who's still trying to maybe connect with the cards, this would be a lot more difficult, in my opinion, and for some people to understand, and it may even confuse them. And this is a great deck, but because I know tarot and I purchased it, I get the ideas and then I connect with the deck, which you should do because anybody could buy this deck and throw it in their cabinet and never really read with it or connect with it, and then pull it out one day to read with it and not be able to get the messages or start getting confused. My point is, I believe that what you're comfortable and what your intuition goes off of best is what you should work with. If you feel that your intuition works best off of tarot decks that are based more on expression, a lot of expression, a lot of up-close pics, then that's great. Then work off of that. If you feel that your intuition works best off of cards where you have a lot of background and symbolism, then that might be better for you. Anyway, guys, just thought I'd do this video tonight about tarot decks up-close view or view at a distance, more Rider-Waite-Smith traditional, as I said before. What do you think? What do you have an easier time reading with? I want to know. Let me know down in the comments below. What do you have an easier time reading with? Something that the pictures are more detailed and there's more going on, or something that you just have a face or an up-close look? let me know, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.